Hi, I'm Sarah.
And I'm David. Let's talk about Survivor 20 Heroes versus Villains.
Thank goodness we're back to Survivor.
I know. We missed you guys last week, especially our patrons. We missed you especially last week.
Yes, we always miss our patrons, and I also miss Survivor.
Yeah, I know, right? I was like very happy to sit down today and watch an episode of Survivor because this is the season that keeps on giving. Like every single episode, there's something that I really am like in disbelief at. Like, how did this happen? How did this work? Like, this is such, I mean, everybody talks about this season being probably the greatest of all time, and it is delivering. My God.
Yes. Every episode is great. Yeah. I love that at the top, Russell is just so pissed.
Oh,
Parvati didn't tell him.
Yeah. What is this about? Why didn't I know about this? I don't. And Parvati's like,
you lied to me. I didn't lie to you.
She's like, how did I lie to you? And he's like, you didn't tell me about it. And she's like, I don't really see anything wrong with that. Like, she does not care. I think she's very pleased with herself to be like finally sitting in a position of power versus Russell. And he's the one who's like throwing his hands up and throwing a little bit of a tantrum. And she's like, I'm good. Like, I just executed a flawless play. So I don't really care that you're mad.
Yeah. And she's like, he's scared that he's not in control. And that's kind of what I wanted.
Yes. Exactly. Yeah. Right. And then we also see Rupert is kind of like, like Sandra told me like I had a chance, like kind of wondering like, am I going to get another chance, with Sandra? Is she still going to want to work with us after this? That kind of like sets up where this episode is heading.
Yes. We also see Russell decide to pull in Candace.
Yeah. The next morning, he's kind of realizing like, I can't trust Sandra fully. So like, in order for us to keep this position of power, I need to pull somebody else in.
Yes. And he kind of says like, anyone being pulled in is always like, well, then I'm on the bottom of this alliance. And he's kind of like, you're not going to be on the bottom.
Yeah, because trust me, Sandra's on the bottom.
Yeah. You're not on the bottom. Right. So she's like, okay.
Right. But he's just laying the groundwork there before we go into the reward challenge, which is a little bit of Survivor shuffleboard.
David, I thought about you.
Old people games. Like
I was like, oh no, this is worse than bowling.
But I will say the end of both of the challenges in this episode was very good. Like it was kind of whatever, people are like, it really doesn't matter what's happened until like the last round of shuffleboard, right? Because you get that last chance to like knock the discs away or get closer or whatever. Colby has an incredible final shot in this shuffleboard game.
Yes, because we have these two like pucks. Well, mostly one that was Russell's that's like super close, and people are just kind of like here and there around it. And then down to the last one, and it's Colby, and it's like a gorgeous shot.
Oh my God.
Right at the X. So that was exciting. Yeah, even though I was like, nobody should ever televise shuffleboard.
No.
No.
Thank you. Okay. I'm glad we're on the same page with this one.
Yeah. This one is worse than bowling for sure.
So what's interesting about this reward is that they're split into 3 teams of 3, right? And only 3 are going on this reward. So the reward sucks. They go to a museum, they watch an old movie, and they get a bowl of popcorn, and that's all they're getting here. And they get to like sleep in their dirty clothes in a bed and go back to camp the next morning.
This was so weird. Watching them walk through a museum in their disgusting bathing suits. I'm like, just give them like a robe or something, please. Right. This doesn't look right.
A robe, and just let them splash their face with water so they look a little bit refreshed or something, but they look like they've just welcomed like nomads, which they sort of are, but like this woman is in her like nice dress, and she's like a docent of this museum, and is just leading around 3 people who look like they've been living on a beach for however many days,
Right. And I can only imagine how interested they were. She's giving like a professional tour, and they're like, we don't care. Amanda, for one thing, is like, I've got one mission, lady. It's to find the clue. So I'm going to grab whatever you're showing me.
The woman's like, look at this iron. And Amanda's like, give me that. And she's like investigating the iron and like pulling it apart.
This is so cool. Look at this. You're like,
I'm like, Amanda, you're going to break something. Like, be respectful of this.
Then they get in this old 4-poster bed and they're watching this old movie, which sure, it's a classic, but
the bed didn't even look that comfortable. Like, it wasn't like plush, gorgeous white sheets. It's like an old blanket on top of a bed that's probably from the early 1900s. Like, it was not that good.
I was like, are these dirty people allowed to touch this old museum bed? Is this all on the up and up? This feels weird.
So weird. And then they finally, but like the other thing about it is that it's only 3 people, right? There are 6 other people back at camp overnight, potentially talking strategy. Right. The one good thing is that they have this potential for a clue for a hidden immunity idol. And everybody was kind of talking about it going into the reward challenge. Like, I want to win reward because I want to find that clue. Colby just wants to watch the movie. He's not looking for the clue at all. Again, Amanda, like, that TV could be playing the most important thing that's ever aired on television, and she would still be looking around the room.
She is surveying everything. But just so happens that Danielle literally just has her hand on it. It's just right there.
She just looks in the popcorn and pulls it right out.
Like, oh, look at this. But Amanda's eyes are roaming, so this doesn't go well for anybody.
Well, okay, Danielle pulls it out of the popcorn and is like, oh, I have to hide this. And she leans over to put it by the bed like this. And then comes back up. I'm like, Danielle, just drop it. Like, you don't have to lean over and place. It's a piece of paper. You don't have to place it gingerly on the floor. So, of course, Amanda's like, what did you just hide behind the bed?
What did you just put over there? What did you put on the floor? Okay, first off, put it on your body. Don't ever drop it on the floor. First mistake, put it on your body. Especially if the bowl is here and you grab it, just what's the closest place? Like, where?
Stick it under your leg, something.
Between your legs. Like, it doesn't have to be super secure yet. Just get it on your body. But no, we've dropped it on the floor. What are you doing over there? Amanda, now this is the weirdest way this goes down. Because she just like slowly like scoot over. Let me sit. What are you doing, Amanda? If you think something's on the floor, just grab it. What are you doing?
Look at the floor. I know. It takes her so long to see it on the floor. And so she tries to sit next to her on the bed, and then she just sits in the chair in the corner. And Colby is like, what is going on? Like, still kind of like munching on the popcorn, like confused, like just couldn't be bothered to understand what's going on. Oh my God.
Full fight breaks out. Full on fight.
She spots it and grabs it, Amanda does.
Yes, Amanda eventually just takes it. Danielle's like, what are you doing? And they're like, give it to me. Like, what are you ladies doing? How is this going down? And then like Danielle's like stomping like a toddler. Like, I found it. It's mine. It's mine. Colby, tell her it's mine.
And Colby's like she found it.
No, at first he says, I'm just watching the movie. I don't know.
Oh my God, Colby, don't say that. Even if that's true, don't say that.
Colby, literally. Like you're in the game. I don't care what you're doing. You missed it. You didn't see what went down. But in this moment, you are aligned with one of these two and you are not aligned with the other one. So let's talk it out. Okay.
Oh my God. But he does not come to Amanda's defense at all. And so eventually she just hands it back over to Danielle. And my jaw is like on the floor. I'm like, how is this happening? I understand you feel childish, stealing an advantage, but you are in a game for $1 million. So here's the way you should have played it. You should have said, okay, you found it, but you left it out in the open. And it's not like whoever puts their hands on it first gets to keep it. So this is everybody's clue now, and we're just going to read it. That's how this is going to go.
Yeah, if you can't decide who's going to get it, one person says, I found it. The other person's like, I don't care. I have it now. Like, whatever. You say, okay, well, then we're all going to read it. We're going to read it out loud. We're all going to know what the clue says. Whoever gets the idol is who has the idol. That's it.
And I wouldn't even wait for Colby to back me up. I'd be like, we're just reading it. Like, I don't care.
Yeah. I think, honestly, if I were Amanda and I was on to what was happening, I would go over there and I'd say, oh, you found the clue? Let's read it. Like, I wouldn't even try to, like, put on this whole, like, I stole it from you. But Amanda did say, she's like, I don't know what I did. I'm surprised I did it. Like, obviously, Amanda was just, like, not really thinking.
Right.
But, yeah, I can't believe Colby didn't suggest that. I can't believe Amanda didn't suggest. Like, I was shocked that went down the way. But you have to remember, like, this is kind of new-ish. It's not brand new, but it's new-ish.
I mean, we have said this is not the first time someone has bungled the handling of like a clue to a hidden immunity idol. Like, people are just pulling them out and being like, what's this? You know, like they don't know how to do this properly yet. Like there's a lot of lesson learning happening this season of Survivor with regards to hidden immunity idol clues. So Danielle goes, back to the beach with her clue, and she reads it with her crew. And she goes out in the pouring rain with Russell only to find the idol. And Russell finds it.
Sneaky, sneaky Russell. He finds it and doesn't tell her. He hides it immediately. He gets himself out of there. She's still like in the rain looking for it. And he's just so bitter that he's got to have a secret.
Mm-hmm. Yep. He's like, they kept it from me. I'm going to keep it from them. And he kind of like says to her, like, oh, like if they see us out here together, they're going to start feeling weird. Like, I'm going to bail and go over here or whatever. But like, he's found the idol now. He has it in his pocket. And he's, pleased as punch that he has a secret over Danielle and Parvati now. And he gets to do what he wants with the idol. Russell is back in power, king of Survivor.
He's the king of the idols, he says. Why do you have to announce that you're the king of anything? Like, I know. I can't when people are like, I'm not king of this. Okay, so he doesn't tell his alliance, but he does tell Candace.
Yeah, a little show of trust here to his new buddy, Candace. And he's just trying to show her, like, see, come on over. Like, I'm giving you information. Like, it's a good play by him, I think, to get somebody to flip over from the heroes to the villains. And it's starting to work. I mean, Candace is like, I still don't know if I can really trust Russell because she saw what happened when they merged. And, Russell used the idol that JT had sent him. Like, they're fresh off of that play where Russell totally stabbed the heroes in the back when they thought he was them. So she's like, I don't know, but like, this helps, that he's giving me this information.
Yeah, this really is a good move for him to show her, loop her in. And I feel like this kind of does sort of seal the deal, sort of does help her to move over to the dark side.
Yeah, right. Now, Sandra's ready to make her move, Sarah.
Yes, she is. She is working on Colby. Yeah. Look, I am not with them. They took out my alliance.
She's like going through it. Tyson, Rob.
Yeah. She's like, I'll even throw in Coach. I don't care about him, but Coach. She's like, they took them all out. Courtney and I couldn't come over here together because they knew we'd flip. Like, she's giving it all to Colby. Colby's buying it. He gets it. Right. He knows. Great to have her on board.
Yeah, of course.
Separately, Russell's talking to Sandra. And he is sort of making sure she's still on his side.
Yeah.
Even though he doesn't trust her, he's working on her to make sure. And he does throw out, we have six. And she's like, you can't do math. You're counting wrong. And he was like, no, we have six. So she doesn't know who at this point, but she knows that someone is attempting to come over.
Yeah. And that's not good for her because like Sandra is after Russell. Like she wants to vote him out. And we see her doing the math in her like confessional interviews. She's like, this is kind of my last chance to like flip over because if I flip, then it's 5 versus 4. After now, like, how are we going to do this? Because if I flip, there's no longer a majority. So like, this is my last chance. And so she's really like coming at Colby hard. He's like thrilled. Like you said, the heroes are like jazzed to have Sandra on their side.
Yeah.
But I mean, there's a problem of the flip, and then there's also the problem of they think they know that Danielle has the idol. You know, Colby was there present for the whole fight with Amanda and Danielle. And so he tells Sandra, like, I know Danielle has the idol. And that kind of like spins them off a little bit into a wrong direction of like, you know, Russell's vulnerable because I know Danielle has the idol. So there's like a couple of problems with the plan here that Sandra's trying to execute.
Right. Okay. So Sandra does tell Rupert, I think at this point, like right before we go to immunity, because Russell was like, we have six. Sandra mentions to Rupert, somebody is moving over. Someone's flipping. Mm-hmm. It's probably one of those girls. She doesn't know who. And Rupert's like,
yeah.
Like, we got to keep on together. And now we go to immunity.
Yes, right. Now they have to build a 10-foot tall, you know, house of tiles. And really it's everybody's, you know, has these different strategies starting out with how they're building their tower. But once we get to like 6 feet tall, like it's just Jerry and Russell. They're the only two who are like really competing in earnest.
Yeah, it seemed like most people could not figure out how to like grow it, but it was kind of cool it being between Russell and Jerry. I really liked the ending of this competition.
Yes, again, like with the strong finishes for these competitions this episode, like it really is so close. Like they're both, and Jeff is like doing such a great job like calling this one. Like they're both at the 9-foot mark. They're both at the 9.5-foot mark. Now, you know, Russell's out of tiles. He's running to get more tiles. Jerry's just got to place her, you know, few remaining tiles. And they're like, the way it's edited is very good, but like by a matter of seconds, Jerry pulls this out over Russell, and she wins her very first immunity ever.
Yay! Way to go, Jerry. That was awesome.
Yes. Yeah, that was really cool.
Okay, so back at camp, now we're going to figure out who we're going to vote out, right? Okay, Jerry is immune. So Russell tells Candace that they're voting Amanda. That's who the villains would like to get out, is Amanda.
The female Boston Rob. We got to get the female Boston Rob. Can't just be Amanda. She's the female Boston Rob. Okay. So, and Candace she's been working with Amanda the whole game, but like we have seen like back when they were on separate tribes, like they weren't always 100% together. It's not like they're ride or dies. And Candace seems pretty ready. Like, okay, if this is the moment to cut Amanda, like I was going to have to do it eventually. So like, might as well be now. She's open to this plan.
Oh, right. Yeah. They weren't like super close.
Yeah.
So she seems open. But then we have a conversation with the heroes. So Candace is also in this conversation, and so is Sandra.
Yeah.
And this is when they're talking about Russell. Gotta get Russell out. Yeah. Russell's got to go. We're vote Russell. And everyone's nodding along, including Candace, including Sandra. They all agree.
Yeah. Russell's got to go. Well, Candace has to take a coconut break with Russell and tell him that they're writing his name down.
Yeah. And she's just like kind of like casually like, yep, it's going to be you. And but then she lets it out of the bag that Sandra was there.
Yeah, right. So,
and that
Russell,
Sandra is gonna do it.
I mean, Russell is ready to confront Sandra now at this point. So he's like, it's an interesting scene because he's like marching down the beach towards Sandra. Candace is like marching after Russell, I guess, to like do a little like saving face of her.
A little damage control.
So she's like trying to like run after Russell, and he's like, I need to talk to you. Like, I don't know why Candace is following me, but like, let's talk. I heard you're writing my name down. And Sandra's like, no, Amanda's going home. Like, what are you talking about, Russell?
What are you talking about?
He's like, well, an idol's getting played tonight, Sandra. And she's like, why are you threatening me? Why are you like, I don't understand why you're coming after me like this.
I love that Sandra will just call you out on that because Russell loves to threaten. He loves to like play his power. And I mean, she's trying to deflect anyway because she's like, yeah, Amanda, of course I'm going to vote. Yeah. But then he throws out a threat and she's like, She like probably wanted to punch him in the face, but she didn't.
Oh, yeah. Yeah. And then Candace like joins the conversation. And at this point, it's becoming clear to Sandra that like Candace is in with Russell. Yeah. And obviously it was Candace who told Russell that they're voting him out, so she's got to go like back to the heroes and explain like Candace blew it, like whether she's working with him or not 100%. Like I know that she told him.
Right. I love this. This is another thing that like probably only Sandra can get away with. She's sitting in front of multiple heroes, including Candace. And she's like, Candace, what are you doing? Candace, which way are you voting? Like she calls Candace out completely. Like
completely.
That's dangerous. But of course, Candace is trying to play along and Colby's like, she's with us.
Yeah, right. And like, if this doesn't work, it's going to be all Candace's fault.
Then we know.
Like,
yep.
Yeah. It's like, okay, it's probably too late at that point. Like,
kinda. The damage is done, but all right, cool. We'll know it's Candace's fault. They have the majority now. Mm-hmm.
Right. But Sandra is not ready to like quite give up on this Russell plan. So we do see her pull Candace off privately.
Oh, right. Because at this point, they've changed it to Parvati.
Yes. Right. Yeah. That was the thing where they were like, well, if Russell knows, I guess we have to flip to Parvati. Right.
Yeah. Well, Russell might play. Yeah. If he knows, he'll get the idol from Danielle. We already know he has it. He'll play it. Let's vote out Parvati. Yeah.
Right.
So this is when Sandra and Candace are like having a one-on-one. And Sandra's like, girl, we got to do this. What are you doing? She's like, why are you scared of them? Candace is like, and she's like, you're scared. You are scared.
Yeah. And she's calling around. She's like, we have to do this. Like Danielle. And the other thing, like, again, it's this one piece of information that is like ruining Sandra's chances of making like a really great move is she's saying like Danielle is not going to give him the idol. Like we are safe to vote for Russell, but Candace is sitting there with the knowledge that Russell has the idol, So like it's just kind of like falling flat because you don't know all the details here, So Candace is like, you're trying to sell me on this plan, but you don't really know what's going on. And I do. So like, why am I going to work with you?
And I think that Sandra is ultimately trying to figure out, like, Candace, tell me, but really, what are you going to do? Like, which side are you on? Which way are you going to vote? I really need to know because Sandra can't flip.
That's right.
If Candace is flipping.
That's right.
Right?
Yes. Sandra's not going to like expose herself like that. Like she wants to know, like, if you're going to vote with the villains, then I'm going to vote with the villains. Like I'm not,
she has to
hitching my wagon to like a, boat of drowning heroes here. So like, tell me what you're going to do. I also loved when they first sit down and Russell comes over and Sandra's like, can I just have a minute? Like Russell, I need to have a meeting with Candace. Every time I try to do something, someone is in my face.
Why can't every single time. Why can't I do anything? You're just like, yes, Sandra, tell him.
Again, it's something that only Sandra could get away with. It's so
only a Sandra. Now, I do wonder, obviously it's not shown in the edit, but because of the results, the way this ends up, I wonder if Candace tells Sandra that Russell has the idol.
Yeah.
Or at least alludes to he has it tonight. Something like that. I wonder.
Right.
Okay, let's go to tribal.
Okay, so Sandra is expressing, frustration with her position on the villains. She acknowledges that she's kind of on the outs with them. She's on the bottom. Like, I'm with them, but like, am I really with them? And then Russell basically confirms that she's barely with them.
And then Russell says something about everyone on the villains except for her. And she's like, oh, and me? What about me?
Yeah, she's like, you didn't include me.
She's just there.
Just there. Sandra's like, okay, my point exactly.
Thank you for that. Thank you.
Right.
Then also, before we go to vote, Russell, because they're talking, what are they talking about? Are they saying that Russell's in danger or safe, or I forget what prompted him, but he says, unless I play an idol. And I was just like, you can't even like the thought, because I guess it's because they're saying Danielle has an idol. They're giving the credit to Danielle, and he can't handle that she might have the credit. He wants to like scream it that he's the one that found it.
Yeah. And I've got the secret, and I kept it from all of you. He's like,
he's unless I play an idol. Yeah. Okay. Anyway.
Yeah. So we see Russell's vote first. He votes for Amanda, and he says, I'm going to play this idol to like ensure that you go home, because he's still thinking like they're going to vote for me. He doesn't realize that the plan has switched. We know that because we see Amanda vote for Parvati. So we know that it's either, you know, Parvati or Amanda who's going to go home in this vote. And, you know, we know what we know about who makes it to the finals. So
we do. We may know too much.
Yeah.
Yes. So we see that. But then we see Russell play the idol. And he's so excited. I bet he couldn't even hold on to that.
No.
I bet that he couldn't even save it.
No. He just was
had to show it off.
Too butthurt about not knowing about the idol, the previous tribal, that he couldn't hang on to this idol for more than one tribal. He's going to play it immediately and rub it in Danielle and Parvati's face that he found it. Yeah, you read the clue with me and I found it and I kept this from you. And guess what? It's just like, it's kind of like, you know, when someone hits you and you just hit them right back. Like you can't even like take a beat to like strategize a better plan. You're just like, oh yeah, well here. You know, like,
it's not like he was really trying to figure out. I mean, he could have gotten more intel. I think he could have had more information. And but I don't think that that's what it was about. It was just a ha ha ha. I played an idol and you didn't know what was going on.
Right.
Yeah. So he plays it on himself. We ultimately get votes for Amanda and Parvati, and he's like, oh, crap.
Yeah. And then I loved Courtney's reaction. She like laughs at Russell's reaction when he's like, ooh, I played that wrong. And she's like, Courtney's great on the jury.
She's a gift. Courtney on the jury, a gift. Thank you so much. Loving that so much.
Yeah.
Even when Jeff was like, I'll go grab the votes or whatever. She's like, yeah, you do that.
You do that, Jeff. Like she's clearly not Jeff Probst's #1 fan.
I was like, yes, we're gonna love this one.
Yeah.
So 5 votes total for Amanda, which means that both Candace and Sandra voted along with the villains. Only Rupert, Colby, and Amanda voted for Parvati.
Actually, it's 6. We see 5 votes for Amanda, but it's 6 in the end. Yeah. But only those 3 for Parvati. So yeah, I think you're like dead correct there that like Candace either told her like, I'm voting with the villains, or she told her like Russell has an idol. Like you can't get him out this week. So Sandra knew that she had to just like lay low and she was not going to get to execute her Russell plan this week.
Yeah. And Parvati looks at Russell and she was like,
he's
you wasted it.
Yeah, right. He tries to be like, well, fair is fair. Like you played one and I played one. And she's like, you played it wrong, Russell.
Yeah, you did it wrong. Had you filled me in, I probably could have helped you with it, is basically what she was saying. I love it. Give him the sass, girl. Give it to him.
It's so good. And now the preview for next week is more of that, right? Like Russell and Parvati now have kind of like, he lashed out a little bit at her and like tried to get even. And apparently that's, you know, just the beginning of troubles between the two of them. It seems like they are at each other's throats a little bit this next week.
A war is brewing a bit, but with a lot of people versus Russell.
Well.
Yeah, he's, what did Rupert call him? Just like trash or something? Like he's garbage? People don't like him. So, some good times ahead.
Okay, I'm excited.
Ahead for, I mean, we've only had good times so far. So
it's true. Like, oh my God, this season is so good. I cannot wait for next week.
Yeah, it's so good. Okay, yay! You guys, thank you for joining us live.
Yes.
And if you are not with us live and joining us later, please leave us a comment. Let us know all of your thoughts, especially if you watched it live or if this is your first time.
Yeah.
Let us know what you're feeling.
Yes. And we will see you guys. When are we going to see them next? We're doing more Big Brother 7 stuff.
7 on Monday.
Yeah.
And then Survivor right back here Wednesday.
All right. We'll see you guys soon.
Okay. Bye.
Bye.